Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to discuss a very provoking question, and this is the question: do Koreans eat dog meat? And I say it's provoking because obviously there are people who are against eating dogs, or maybe even vegetarians, vegans who really just collapse by dealing with this subject and coming closer to it or to the truth. It has a lot to do with eating animals. A moral question that can't be solved that easily and is not really easy to digest, I'd say. I can tell you the answer right away, but only if you promise that you will watch the video until the very end, until you listen to my explanation, just to understand why I say this. The answer is yes and no. I have done research on the internet, but I also asked people I know from Instagram that I'm chatting with that used to be in Korea for a time. I'll just come to that in a minute. Do I actually think that I can do this video? Because I have not the experience myself. I don't live in Korea. I can't go and do some cool interview videos with some Koreans on the street, but still, as you know, I've been this summer, if you've watched the vlog, I hope so, I've been in Kazakhstan. As I said, in Kazakhstan there are also a lot of Korean people who migrated there a few decades of years ago. I don't know the historical context exactly, but I know that there are just Koreans migrated or were actually settled there. They kept on living there and are actually integrated in the country, but still the Korean culture is very present, of course. I just start with the experience that my parents did when they lived in Kazakhstan before I was born. Actually, even if I ask my mother today, even my siblings who are a bit older than me, they would say yes, they eat dogs. They always ate dogs, so they eat them now as well. It's interesting, and I was asking myself always why, because since I'm interested in Korea, I watch a lot of videos about that, a lot of vlogs from today's Korea, you know, people who live in Korea today and make vlogs about that, young people, and they say, well, they don't really eat dogs here anymore. It's more the older generation that does so, or that did so. Indeed. And now you have to consider this split in time. I don't know when exactly that was. It's been quite a while, maybe even hundreds of years ago. Eating dogs was a common thing in Korea. And these Koreans from this culture back then settled down in Kazakhstan and continued this kind of culture, developed it insofar that it is actually the same until today. I can tell you a little story. Just 30 years ago or so, they were eating dogs quite frequent, and it was really shocking for my mom. She lived with her family in a village in Kazakhstan, and she even told me that the Koreans in the villages, they were stealing at night in secret the guard dogs at times. So every household actually had at least one guard dog. Even my mom's household was a victim once of this action. The other day, that was quite interesting, they were making a festival. So that's what my mom says. They always really celebrated this meal, this when they ate a dog, when they prepared a dog as a meal, and that was really something special. And they even, you know, invited guests, invited their neighbors, and you know, that was a bit awkward. And even my mom ate dog meat, but she did not know in the moment when she ate it that this was actually dog meat. In today's Kazakhstan, like, that's what my uncle was telling recently, just 2 weeks ago, I think. In the city that is closest to my uncle's village where he lives in, was opened a restaurant where you can buy dog meat, order just dog meat, a meal with dog meat to eat. Yes, so obviously this aspect of the culture is still alive. Honestly, I thought that this is just part of Kazakhstan Koreans, but then I made research on it, and it was quite interesting what I found, because I actually thought that this is really just a really old-fashioned argument, not up to date, but it's not exactly. Now we come to the real Korea part. I watched quite some videos about the industry of Korean dog farming, where they raise dogs, produce that meat and sell it. You know, that's even harsher in China, in Yulin, I guess. That's the Yulin? Yulin city where they really celebrate this dog eating festival and all that. But in Korea there's still this dog meat industry, and there are restaurants that sell dog meat. Recently they kind of should put away signs for the Olympic Games because of all the tourists that could be disgusted by this fact that you could order in a certain restaurant dog meat. You know, they just had to hide the signs. And there are still indeed restaurants that sell dog meat. But in many interviews people said that they don't eat dog meat frequently. If they do so, it's just maybe like once or twice a year for a certain event. Well, and now we come to the society split. When you ask a lot of Koreans that are young, you will mostly meet the answer that no, they don't eat dog meat. Many of them have tried this meat due to their grandparents, because it's mostly the elder generation that still eats dog meat and still considers this as okay, as normal, and as a part of the culture. In this one interview there were a few, especially one elder guy that really supported this cultural aspect. But most of the young people even have their own dogs, you know, as just a pet, and they cannot eat dog meat today anymore. So the young people don't really think that's okay. But still, there even were young people, even though they were just a few, who were okay with that and who said, well, it's just like meat. I mean, why would you say that a dog is more valuable than pork? So as a pig or as, don't know, sheep, they're all just animals. Then there was always this interesting question: do you feel better when I say that this is not dog meat, but this is like beef or pork? And the people were like, they felt so much better after they found out that this is not a dog meat. But this is quite interesting also to think. You could argue here, like, actually, well, you still eat an animal, so, but this is just another subject. So basically, one can say the elder generation in Korea is still positive about eating dog meat, still does this, at times even quite frequently. Not all of them, of course, you can't generalize. The younger generation is rather on the opposite side. Most of them say this is not okay, but just really a few people say this is okay. But actually almost every Korean has tried dog meat. As I said, due to grandparents, or some of them, they just did not know that this was dog meat at maybe when they were eating meat at a party, and they did not know what kind of meat that was. To this fact that many people from other countries have the stereotypes that Koreans are the folks that eat dogs, and they're quite disgusted. Other Koreans answered, well, there are other countries or other cultures that eat the brains of monkeys, and this is okay in that country. Or kangaroo meat. This is really an interesting topic, but you have to consider that, you know, we know the dog as part of the family. Many people love dogs in the Western countries especially. That's why this makes this whole thing a bit complicated. I mean, you would not necessarily raise a sheep as your best friend, let it live in your flat. That's the other thing with dogs. That's why this makes this whole topic so emotional. I would like to read out the answer that I got from the person I'm chatting with on Instagram that has been in Korea recently, a young person. So she kind of supports or is on the side of the young generation of Korea, and she has this particular point of view. Okay, so this stereotype is so outdated. In Korea, I've not once stumbled across a place where you could eat dogs. Not one time, and I've been to very local restaurants too. All the people I met up with didn't eat dogs, and I don't think they have tried it either. However, other than the fact that this stereotype is based on a very, very small amount of people who have done that, I personally don't see why people make such a thing out of it, considering a dog is just an animal. I'm personally vegetarian, so I don't eat any animal, but for some reason people have distanced themselves from the cow or chicken they're eating, and they can't get over the fact that in other cultures other animals are considered as meat animals. Most people are personally attached to dogs, and that's why they don't like it. But really, there is no fact, no real difference between the animals. One other smaller point is that people make a big deal out of Koreans eating dogs, but people should look around more and see that there are many countries where people eat many weird animals too, like, you know, the brain of the monkey, I'd say. That's basically my opinion and what I saw in Korea. So, a very one-sided point of view. I think it's interesting that she did not see any places where you can eat dog meat. This is contradicting to what I found to the current situation. I guess it's maybe more hidden so that they don't place over, oh, here you can eat dog meat, you know. But here you see that this eating dogs prejudice of Koreans or stereotype is getting more and more outdated, and maybe in the next century this will almost completely disappear. We don't know, we will have to see that, or maybe we not, we're going to be dead in that period of time, but yeah, things develop. Yeah, that's all I can say to that. I hope I explained the answer of yes and no for you clearly, so this compromise you have to find in the answer. And I hope you like this video. I hope this topic is quite interesting to you. If you want, I can link down below some links or some videos that I watched about this. If you have any questions, if you have anything to say, put it in the comments below. I really like to read your comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss anything on this channel. So that's it. I hope you have a great week, a great time, and we see each other next time. Goodbye.